Get ready to go.
All right, welcome to the back.
That one's on me. Here, we'll get that fired back up.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
All right, this show is called Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio, who screwed up the intro, and Tim in Green Bay. We won't give Emilio's location tonight. But how we doing tonight, fellas?
Yeah,
good to be here, man.
Doing well, getting ready to go, but I hit it too late. When you threw that candy up in the air and caught it, Clay, I thought I had a second to get it, but
no.
Get ready to go. Rolling.
If you think you got time, you're going to run out of time. You know
you're
what
late.
I'm saying?
Yes. If you think you have time, you're late. That's what we got to get Jordan Love on this year. No time, man. Get that ball out of your hand. Get out of the pocket.
Exactly. Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm fine.
No, you're not. I can see you're like, why am I here? What am I doing?
I'm just wondering if I'm going to screw anything up now since we're off to a roaring start.
All right. Well,
maybe I'll mess up the intro or the outro of the show at the end. Do that. How about that?
Exactly. Well, let's just jump in here. We got some news on Packers Twitter. I know the chat's filing in. Appreciate y'all making us part of your. Even if you would hit that like button on the way in. I don't know why you would, but we greatly appreciate it. So Lily, how do you say her last name? Is it Zhao?
Yep, Lily Zhao. Yep.
Lily Zhao, who covers the Packers, said Packers announced their tailgate tour will feature Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, Lucas Van Ness, and alumni Amon Green, Jermichael Finley, and John Michaels. Not Shawn Michaels, John Michaels, all right, along with Mark Murphy. It's set for April 8th through the 12th, starting in Milwaukee. Guys, that would be a fun tailgate tour to be a part of right there.
Absolutely.
That's some big names there.
And you might need to make a trip wherever they're stopping. We might need to get a firsthand account. That sounds like a good group right there. You got Tuck, Josh, LVN. I mean, Amon. Come on now.
Had Jermichael Finley in the back of the bus, bad-mouthing Aaron Rodgers the whole time. That'd be a good time, wouldn't it? Just everybody keep the drama flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. He's still pissed off. That was like one of the best tight ends he ever had, and all the guy does is drag him. You know,
I know.
Yeah. Crazy.
So anyway, tailgate tour looks like it's going to be absolutely awesome this year. And listen, tip your cap to Mark Murphy again. I wonder if he'll continue to be a part of that moving forward, even though he's not technically the acting president / CEO. You know what I mean? I could see him kind of still wanting to do that and be around the team. I think that'd be awesome. So there you go with that. Next news here. Liam Coen. We talked about him earlier, right? It looks like he is going to be the head coach in Jacksonville. As a matter of fact, after I tweeted this, I think they actually announced he is being hired. So Liam Coen is going to be the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Once again, I don't think any of us were concerned about Jeff Hafley potentially getting that job, but obviously they go a different route there. This sounds like a Jaguars hire, to be honest with you. Like, I think we're going to look up in 2 years and they're looking for another head coach. What do you guys think about this? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. It's really going to have to come down to how they hire, from the top down. How are you going to build that team? How are you going to build the board? The fact that they waited to do everything else till right now, after all the other coaches, kind of got picked through, is, I guess, up to them.
Tim, anything?
Yeah, I have riveting input on this. Yeah. It's
all right, there you go.
Listen up real close to all the great things I have to say about Jacksonville as a franchise. None of this stuff surprises me at all. But we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, right?
Well, Tim, they have a swimming pool.
They could be lit, man. They could be lit.
They have a swimming pool in their stadium, second level. Come on now.
All right, so right before we went live, I noticed this tweet. I think it was from yesterday or maybe it was earlier today, I guess. 3013 put a tweet out, and they said a trade pitch that would land Maxx Crosby in Green Bay. So I want to get your all's take on it. I put a Twitter poll up, and we're going to see what the results of that poll question were. But here's the trade pitch. The Packers give up their 2025 second-round pick, so the second rounder in this year's draft, and next year's third rounder for Maxx Crosby. And I'm going to give you guys a second to think about it here. I want to know what you think about that. Would you pull the trigger on that trade or not? The Twitter poll question, I asked that very question, and let me tell you something. Packers Twitter said absolutely. 83.8% of the votes, and we got 291 votes in as of right now. And only 16.2% said no. So this is unanimous across Packers Twitter. They would love to give up this year's second and next year's third for Maxx Crosby. What do you guys think about that? What would you be willing to do that? And then I'm going to kind of give you my take on it. I don't want to sway you on anyway.
Man, Packer fans, we love our big names, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We love big names. I'm in the 16.2%. We'll just put it that way.
Got it.
Yeah, I think I'm at a no as well, Tim. I don't love a second and a third. That's a little rich for me.
Got it.
Clay?
You too drunk to take that.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe catch me on like a Thursday, maybe catch me on like a, Taco Tuesday or something, and maybe we can talk about it. But
gotcha. CJN says yes. Right. From the tribe of Yehuda says absolutely. All right. Ron Sample says he voted no. Respect Oranges says that's too rich for them, right? Greg Rice says, does that equal a first-round pick? I don't think it would equal a first-round pick. We'd have to look at the trade chart. To be honest with you, Greg, I don't know.
What do they say? The second this year is technically a third next year. So it would be.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So it would be the
way it works is like if you were to trade a second rounder, or let's say you traded a second rounder this year, you would get a first rounder next year. So you kind of climb up one round if you trade out of that year back a year, right? So this would be maybe next year's third would be like a fourth rounder this year. So
I think it's just the two that's really bugging me more than anything. That third next year isn't horrible, being maybe a fourth, but that two up front is too rich.
Yeah. CJN says if it was a 2025 second and third, I'd say no. But because it's 2026 third, I'm fine with it. All right, got it. Respect Oranges again, too rich. Ron Sample says you still got to pay the man, right? That's the other aspect. How does it fit within the model of your roster, right? Brambo says, I don't know what y'all talking about. That's an easy yes. Yeah. J. Cole says Judah. All right, cool. Chris N says no, but I'm a hater. All right. Prince says chicken, too drunk. You know the thing. Oh, I see what he did there. I think Jake Shavink said he'd rather do a DK deal. All right, got that. Let's see here. Daryl says, but is Maxx Crosby set to become a free agent? I don't know what his contract is, to be honest with you. I want to say there's at least one more year on the deal. There may be multiple. I'm looking at it strictly from is it worth it to get that player in return, for those draft picks? Dan says, I'd do a third and a third, but not a second. So he would kind of come back and say, hey, we'll give you 2/3.
Let's ask the real question. I mean, are the Raiders interested in Jair Alexander?
Oh, Tim. Man, I'll tell you. This year, I did not have this on my bingo card. That's very interesting when you think about it.
I mean, we're talking about auctioning off our future draft capital for a guy. I mean, what about a guy who's 1 foot out the door already? You know,
I want to get everybody
just thinking out loud.
Yeah, and I've got kind of a thought on it, and I'll tell you guys whether I would do it or not. But I wanted to kind of get everybody else's opinion in here. Greg S says I would love Max, but that's a lot of money on the edge. Talking about between him and Gary, right?
Yeah.
Brambo said that too could be anything. It could even be Maxx Crosby. It's a good point.
You think that's Brambo's? He said yes. You think that's how he's just going to the Raiders, selling it to him? That too could be anything. It could even be a Maxx Crosby. Do the deal. Like trade him over.
Could be. From the Tribe says no. He has 2 more years left. So you're actually getting I'm assuming that means this year and next year, or are you saying this year and then 2 more years? Not that I guess it really matters that much, right? Jake Shavink says Crosby has some high base salary, so obviously you do a little bit of converting of that salary. You could probably free up some cap space and make it a little more tolerable. Respect Oranges, then why not take the boat? All right. Greg Rice, can we do a third now and a second next year if he plays 65% of our defensive snaps? That's an interesting take.
He's not going to play
65%.
65%. That's what
because we run a hockey line. So
See, that's
that would be the perfect thing to walk him. Oh, yeah. Let's do a second. If not, it'll just be a sixth. And if he doesn't get 65% of snaps, we'll call it good. Call it good with a sixth.
that was a big conversation on Twitter where I put up those comparisons of how Rashawn Gary has basically outperformed Maxx Crosby this year. And they said, yeah, but Maxx Crosby plays, 90-some% of the snaps and Gary can't. It's like, if you think Maxx Crosby would come over here and play 90% of the snaps, you don't understand Matt LaFleur. Like, that's not a Maxx Crosby thing. That's not even a Rashawn Gary thing or an LVN thing. That's a Matt LaFleur thing. And the reason it's a Matt LaFleur thing is because they did it last year too, right? Yeah. And that was Joe Barry, obviously, as DC. So, I don't know, man. I just thought it would be an interesting little conversation to have there. But I kind of like what Greg Rice is thinking there. Daryl in the chat says, I know Eric Stokes will become a free agent. That's why Goody minus 1 year of his rookie contract. J. Cole says Ja and a second-round pick, ? Would you boys do that? Meaning, hold up a minute. Meaning we give up a second-round pick and Jair for Maxx Crosby? I think that's what they're saying, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
Dan the Stan man said Ja in a 2025 third. That's maybe a little better, but still maybe a 26 third, further away. Don't have to worry about it. Maybe we can work some more trades and get it back. But yeah, that second is definitely, I think it's the two that's really too rich for me.
Respect Orange just says a boat's a boat, but the mystery box can be anything. It could even be a boat.
The book can also be a hat.
All right. So here's kind of how I see it. These picks are going to turn into players, right? And many people, when we trade draft picks, we never revisit those trades. You don't go back and go, okay, what did we actually trade? Who was our most recent second-round pick? Edgerrin Cooper.
Our most recent, Edge.
He was second, second round.
Who was our most recent third-round pick?
Evan Williams?
Javon Bullard.
Or Bullard, yeah.
Javon was second, right? Or was he?
No, he was third.
Was he a third?
Yeah.
So the question for me becomes, would you trade Edgerrin Cooper and Javon Bullard for Maxx Crosby?
Hell no.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Negative.
Now let's go back to last year, right? Who was the second round pick last year? It was Jaden Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Jaden Reed and Musgrave, right? Who was the third round pick last year? Tucker Kraft. Would you trade Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft for Maxx Crosby? That's why it's a no for me, dog. As Randy once said on that show that Emilio watches a lot. What's the name of that show, Emilio?
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. What was that? Was that American Idol? No.
Yeah. Randy Jackson. Yeah. Yep.
You know Randy Jackson.
Yeah, I even had him sign my sword. I saw Randy Jackson, and you're going to have him sign something, right? All I had on me was my katana.
Yeah. Jake said Bullard was a second. That's what I was thinking. So last year it would have been give up either Bullard or Edgerrin Cooper and whoever the third round pick was. I can't remember who the third round pick was.
Was it Lloyd?
Yep, Marshawn Lloyd. There you go. I bet a bunch of people go, trade Marshawn Lloyd. We haven't even seen him on the field yet, right? So I don't know, man. That's the way I look at it. Those are going to turn into players. When you look at the second round picks over, Goody's kind of track record here, he's dipped pretty good, right, with second round picks. So if it was 2/3, I'd feel a little bit better about it. But again, you guys know how I feel about the whole modeling the roster, man. That's great. You throw two great edge defensive ends out there, right? Two edge defenders.
What does that do to help us in the middle?
Right. And how does adding Maxx Crosby while losing a potential Jaden Reed or a potential Javon Bullard or a potential Edgerrin Cooper or a potential Tucker Kraft, how does adding Maxx Crosby beat the Eagles this last year?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got our ass kicked because our offensive line, our backup left guard, who Emilio said was all world, got crushed. All right.
You're never going to let him live that down, are you?
You wait. I'll stay quiet. I mean, he's like a duck on water. You know, you don't know what those feet are doing under the water. That's what I'm saying.
So how about we trade? Would you guys trade Travis Glover in a 3rd round pick?
No.
Hell yeah.
No shot.
No shot. All right, so there you go. Again, the fans have spoken, and we're up to 357 votes. It's unanimous, boys. 84.6 of Packer fans who voted on this said, yeah, we would do that. We pull the trigger on that. So that's it. That is your trade talk for Maxx Crosby. Obviously, potentially coming to the Packers. I'd like to have Maxx for the right price. I'd like to have Maxx as long as you didn't have to give up too much.
Yep.
You know, the way I would see it is keep your 2nd and 3rd round pick and go sign Khalil Mack for a year or 2. You know, that way you hold on to your draft capital. You get an edge defender that played much better than Maxx Crosby last year, to be honest with you, right? And I know people will immediately say that Maxx was playing hurt. I'm sure there's some validity to that argument, but it's just kind of how I see it there. So let's go to the Patreon group here real quick. We got several different Patreon messages / questions. Anything else you guys want to add to that trade talk there? I'm sorry, I should have asked.
No,
I totally agree with what you said, that, you know, we shouldn't get this twisted. I think all of us would agree we'd want Maxx Crosby on our team, but just not giving up our future in the process, right?
Right.
yeah.
Definitely. All right. Greg S. in the PTA Patreon group. If you want to join the Patreon group, just scan the QR code in the upper right or go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We got 1 of 3 tiers you can join over there, get you access to these chats, be a part of the community, also get you entered into giveaways, which we're going to be giving away an autographed Dorsey Levens jersey this coming week. So we'll just put everybody's name who is a member on Patreon as well as here on YouTube, and spin the wheel, the Larry McCarron pinky wheel, and whoever it lands on, we will give away that autographed jersey too. So this is what Greg S. said over in the Patreon group. He said, are we storming Park Avenue? Can we compare the 2 linebacker grades with Cooper? And he's talking about AP Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates are Cooper DeJean from the Philadelphia Eagles, Braden Fisk, defensive end from the Los Angeles Rams, Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from the Philadelphia Eagles, Chop Robinson, linebacker from the Dolphins, and Jared Verse, linebacker from the Los Angeles Rams. So obviously what he's saying here is, why in the heck isn't Cooper on this list and these guys are, right? I can see the argument there, but to me the answer is Cooper's a stack backer and those linebackers are edge defenders, right? The edge defenders are always going to be flashier. Now, let's just kind of talk about the statistics here. And he's specifically asking about these other 2 linebackers in Chop Robinson and Jared Verse. Again, just want to specify that they are edge defenders. They're not stack backers. Emilio, just
now, the moderator moderating.
What can I give this right here? Let me see. See what kind of emoji best fits us. There you go, right there. That's what you get, Emilio. All right, so Chop Robinson, let's start with him. Chop Robinson's stats on the year, he played 52.8% of the snaps. He had 6 sacks. He had a quarterback pressure percentage of 17.2%. If you guys are wondering, that's pretty darn good. He actually led his team when it comes to defensive linemen / edge defenders, I'm pretty sure, because there's a couple stack backers that are higher than him, but 17.2%. He also had 20 run stops, okay? So 6 sacks is really the key statistic there for Chop Robinson. In terms of tackles, he only had 26. So, you know, decent for a rookie. Now, Jared Verse, in my opinion, has a much better shot, or is much more worthy of that award there, as Jared Verse finished with 4.5 sacks, okay? And he had 50 run stops on the year, 50 at the edge position. And to kind of put that into perspective, Gary led us with stops, I believe it was, and he ended up with 39. at the defensive line position. That's why that run stop for Jared Verse is like, dang, that's pretty impressive. So pressure percentage for Jared Verse is 16.8% as well. So to me, Jared Verse is more worthy of it than Chop Robinson, personally. And Jared Verse played 74% of the snaps as well, so he was obviously more available. And they've actually got Braden Fisk on this same list here as well. So now to me it becomes between Jared Verse and Braden Fisk of those two, okay? Braden Fisk, rookie, 8.5 sacks. He had 38 run stops, and he had a pressure percentage as an interior defensive lineman of 10.9%. You guys remember Braden Fisk? If I remember correctly, he ran the fastest 40-yard dash of any big boy defensive lineman, someone who would be considered a defensive tackle, right? On our big board last year, he was the sixth best defensive lineman. Jared Verse was the third best edge defender, and Chop Robinson was the second best edge defender on our board. So pretty wild that the LA Rams have two players that are in the running for Rookie of the Year when you think about it. Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell's had a hell of a year. Cooper DeJean as well. We talked about them all year. Quinyon Mitchell was our top-ranked cornerback. He was our number, 3, 6, 9, our 10th overall prospect. And then Cooper DeJean was our 5th best corner on the board. So the point is, why should Edgerrin Cooper win it over Braden Fisk? That's really what it comes down to. Braden Fisk and Quinyon Mitchell. When you look at Edgerrin Cooper's snaps, he played 55% of the snaps. All right. He had 47 run stops. He led the team in that category. He only had 3.5 sacks, but he's playing stack backer. So he finished with a 22.4% quarterback pressure percentage, which is good, don't get me wrong, but as a stack backer, those numbers are crazy inflated. And a passer rating when targeted of 57.1. He also finished with 77 tackles on the year. So I've got to agree with our buddy Greg S. here. I think he probably should have made that list over Chop Robinson. I don't know how you guys feel about it. When you look at Chop's numbers, I mean, again, how many sacks did I say Chop had? Do you guys remember? Was it 3? 6. He had 6.
He had, and he only had it said 17 stops.
20 stops.
Yep. 20 stops? Okay, I was looking at PFS.
Yeah.
59 pressures. Yes, I mean, he got some pressure, but besides that, I mean, as an overall player, Coop for sure.
Yeah. Yep. That's the other thing here, Tim. Keep in mind, Edgerrin Cooper also had an interception, right? And a passer rating when targeted of only 57.1. So,
and we got kind of cheated out of a handful of games from him too this year, early in the season. So it would have been real interesting to see if he didn't have that leg injury starting the year, and we got to see a whole season out of him. We might have a little bit of a different list here, but I mean, it actually makes what Edgerrin Cooper did with the rest of his rookie season that much more impressive, because he basically caught up for lost time and really put up a hell of a year down the stretch. But I really do. I think him not getting a full year is kind of what kept him out of the running. But then again, it's the AP. The AP, I don't, like J. Cole's saying here, the AP are stat nerds and aren't watching the tape. It's like I don't know what the Associated Press's criteria is when they vote on these things,
Yeah, and I like to kind of run this through the filter here. I want to get your take on it, Emilio and Tim. If you took all these rookies and then you add Edgerrin Cooper to the list, who would you take if you could only pick one to start a defense with, right? Would you pick Edgerrin Cooper, Cooper DeJean, Braden Fisk, Quinyon Mitchell, Chop Robinson, or Jared Verse? Again, you're starting a whole new roster, and, hey, you got to pick from that group right there. Who would you pick to put in place for your team, Emilio? You play Madden, you play Ultimate.
That's with Cooper? That's with Cooper or excluding Cooper?
That's including Cooper. Would you could take Cooper as well. This is how I look at it. Is he worthy? Are these players worthy of the Rookie of the Year? Right. That's the true value, in my opinion.
From his production this year, I would say Cooper. The only one that I would maybe push and pull the trigger on would be Braden Fisk, just because that dude's an animal down there. Like when he was in our backfield all the time, and the Rams weren't good at that point. The reason why there's probably 2 Rams on here that are rookies is because they made it to the playoffs. You know what I mean? So there's another reason that they're on there. So he would be the only one I might pull the trigger on over Coop.
Tim, what do you think, man?
I'm going Coop. You know,
Okay.
we gotta keep it frosty. I'm going with Coop, and I hear totally where you're coming from, Emilio, on your second pick. I would go Jared Verse for my second pick.
Mm-hmm. And for me, you guys know how I treat like specific positions. In the order in which I would take it, I would say Braden Fisk number 1, and number 2 would be close between Jared Verse and Edgerrin Cooper. You know, Jared Verse obviously being tier 1 of importance at the edge position. And let's see, what did he finish with on the year? Jared Verse finished with only 4.5 sacks, but a 16.8% quarterback pressure rate. Run stops, he had 50 run stops. That's huge in the run game. I mean, that's kind of the same impact that like Gary had, right? In the run game this year, so that's huge. Yeah, for me, I would probably go Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, then Edgerrin Cooper is the order I would go with. So he would be third on my list. So to me, that says I'm not saying he's not worthy of being on this list, but man, if Braden Fisk doesn't win it, I don't know. It feels a little weird, but we haven't even looked at like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell's stats either. You care if we just take a quick second and pull those up? I'm going to do that and just
Let's
take
do
a
it.
quick.
Let's get it.
Everybody talks like they had a great season. Obviously, PFF thinks they did, right? And we're going to get to the grades, and which is what he was actually asking here in just a second. We'll look at the PFF grades of most of these players, if not all. But yeah, so Cooper DeJean finished the year with 0 interceptions. Okay. 0 interceptions, passer rating when targeted of 78.9. Keep in mind that Edgerrin Cooper's was in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
Trying to
He
think.
had no picks this year?
That's what it's saying. Boy, the way people talked about it, you'd think he had 5 interceptions or something, right?
Yeah, so what? I don't get it. They have a ton of tackles or something? Or
he had 23 stops and he had 50 tackles, which is pretty good, right? 23 stops. So he was probably physical there in that regard. Now, keep in mind the statistic when we played the Eagles that how the effectiveness of opposing receivers in the slot went way down when he started. I think it was coming out of the bye week there, week 5.
Mhm.
So take that into consideration. It is what it is. Again, we got the passer rating we targeted in the 70s, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But I want to say Carrington Valentine finished in the 50s, I believe. Let me double check that. If we go passer rating when targeted, Carrington Valentine. Yeah, Carrington Valentine finished with a 69 passer rating when targeted. So he actually had a better passer rating when targeted as a 7th-round pick in his second year than Mr. All-World. Everybody loves Cooper DeJean, right? So now the PFF grades, I'm sure, are through the roof. That's probably what people fell in love with. Let's look at Quinyon Mitchell real quick. Quinyon Mitchell passer rating when targeted. Of course, everything resets on me because that's what it does, right? Let me fire this back up. Because Quinyon Mitchell, I think people were saying had a better year than our boy Cooper DeJean, if I remember correctly. But defensively, let's see here. Passer rating when targeted. Let's see. Cooper DeJean. Where's he at? Where's our boy Quinyon Mitchell at? Wow, is he that low? Holy cow. Quinyon Mitchell had an 88.7 passer rating when targeted.
Wow.
He had 0 interceptions.
That's crazy.
So it's PFF. PFF is the reason everybody's saying these guys are good, right? So that, and of course, their defense is ranked really high. So
we're starting to figure out how the AP puts together their list.
Kind of feels like it, don't it? Because Braden Fisk, I want to say, had a very high PFF grade as well, right? Matter of fact, let me go ahead and close that out. Well, I better keep that up. I was going to try to pull it up real quick. Edge defenders, which we got 2 of them on here, right? Braden Fisk, let's see, he's not an edge. So we got Jared Verse. Jared Verse finished the year with an 89.3 PFF grade, 7th best in the entire league, and he was a rookie. Right above him was Micah Parsons, Khalil Mack with a 90.2, Nick Bosa with a 91, TJ Watt with a 91.7, Myles Garrett with a 92.3, and Aiden Hutchinson, albeit a shortened season there, with a 94.9. So Jared Verse, extremely high PFF grade. Now, our boy Chop Robinson was fairly low. He was in the 37 spot with a 79.0 PFF grade. Let's see if we can go to defensive linemen now. And We're looking for Braden Fisk, right, from the Rams.
You said Chop had a 79 PFF grade?
What's that?
I said you said Chops had a 79 PFF grade. I looked at it.
It was a 69, I think. 69 or
Oh,
70.
okay. I was going to say it said 70 on mine. That's
70. Yeah.
okay. I was going to say, dang, man, PFF is all over the place.
I'm looking for Braden Fisk here, too, with the Rams PFF-wise. And me not seeing it here, Jan. Is he really that low? Was he graded that low? There's Kobe Turner, his teammate. Holy cow. Let me go to the Rams real quick. If he's low, that's pretty wild because those numbers, like, how do you have that good of numbers and be that? Yeah, 57.5. 57.5 for Braden Fisk. So, Tim, they're not going off PFF grades here. Maybe it's a combination of both, right?
Yeah, you know who was the best in the rookie class? That would be Tavondre Sweat. Has him ranked 15th with a 76-2.
For real?
Yeah.
And on the big board, we had him as the number 3 interior defensive lineman. We had Byron Murphy, Jerzon Newton, and then Tavondre Sweat. But Tavondre Sweat we had in the red because he came in a little overweight, if I remember correctly.
Get this. Tavondre Sweat, 699 defensive snaps. Braden Fisk is the only one with more, with 700.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of criticism for having Tavondre Sweat so high because everybody's going, he's just a nose. You could see him as more than a nose. Moved really, really well. I want to say it was – I can't remember if it was the East-West Shrine game or the Senior Bowl. It's probably the Senior Bowl that there was notes coming out that his lateral quickness was amazing.
Clayton, he literally had 12 snaps in coverage this year. That's
Sweat?
Yeah, that's like 6 times the amount of anybody else. The only other person, Jonah Lalu with 5, and Braden Fisk had 4. That's crazy.
Hashtag fire Joe Barry. What the hell are they doing putting him in coverage? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, interesting, man. Interesting talk there. I'm glad we covered it just to kind of take a look at what these guys did. And obviously, Adrian Cooper finished with like an 84 PFF grade, right? So, the PFF grade would say Braden Fisk is not your rookie of the year, but it would say Jared Verse is, right? Based off what we just went through. So, if we looked at the PFF grade for these corners on the Eagles, let's do that real quick and see how that be looking. We can find it here. Where you at, Eagles?
Shout out Damn the Stan. AP sorted PFF rating high to low and chose the top 5.
Probably what happened, right? Let's see here. Corners. All right, cornerbacks for the Eagles. Of course, it resets again because that's how they do. Cooper DeJean, 77.7. Quinyon Mitchell, 75.5. So, Adrian Cooper, now, again, back to his original question, can we compare the grades? That's what he was asking, right? So far, only Jared Verse had a higher PFF grade than Adrian Cooper.
Yep.
So
and the only other corner that's in between Cooper and Quinyon is Andrew Phillips with a 77.5. So, I mean, he almost beat out Cooper DeJean as the number 1 rookie. I love that. I mean, but Quinyon Mitchell, 1,029 snaps.
Are you talking about Andrew Phillips from Kentucky?
That's exactly who I'm talking about, Clayton. I knew you heard it.
Isn't it awesome that program came to a screeching halt this year for absolutely no reason? But here we are, right? Of course, Carrington Valentine playing pretty good ball. Andrew Phillips playing good ball. Maybe that had something to do with it, right? Losing a couple of good defensive backs.
Yeah, now we're going to get Deion Walker too. So, you know.
Hey, if we get Deion Walker, I'm probably getting a jersey. And I'm going to make sure I get it in a 3X so it just hangs off of me. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's going to go. So, again, thanks to our buddy Greg S. and thanks to Emilio saying he's not trading Glover. Also, they're in the Patreon group. All right. Another Patreon question here is in the free agents section. I love that we're doing this, man. I think this stuff's awesome. Anthony Nafke. What was it again this morning, Tim? Do you remember?
Nafke.
Nailed it. Khalil Mack would be near the top of my list, still a dynamic edge rusher. Again, man, for me, 1 to 2 years, if he drops from a 90 into the 80s, he's still going to be so damn effective and take some of those double teams, those chips off of our boy Adrian Cooper. And then you turn around and get a 3-tech in the draft. I feel a lot better about that defensive front, me personally. But what do you guys think about Khalil Mack? I know many people were saying they'd much rather have Maxx Crosby over Khalil Mack. Emilio, would you rather have Khalil Mack or Maxx Crosby. What are you doing? What is that?
That's the Bulls. That's the old alma mater right there. That's my boy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Boy,
I thought
blue.
you were talking about Taylor Swift sign or something. I didn't know we were back in the
No,
Swift.
yeah, I'm for Khalil for sure, definitely.
All right. Tim, would you rather have Khalil Mack or would you rather have Maxx Crosby, man, in a trade?
In a trade?
I mean, Maxx Crosby's not a free agent, so
Yeah, so Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, right? So if they were both free agents, which would you rather have?
Still would be Khalil because
I
I
would
feel like we have so much talent. We spent a first round pick on LVN. We have other guys that we want to get into that position.
Mhm.
Let's have an elite talent that's done it for 10 years come over and teach him some things. Get him a ring on the way out and get him out of here.
That would be pretty cool to see Khalil Mack rotating.
That's what I'm saying. You bring one vet in for D, one vet in for O. We didn't do Bobby Wagner last year. We'll bring in Khalil this year. Bring in Tay on the offense, and it's not like they need to run the show or anything. Just give insights, give pointers.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a valid. Hey, fam says Emilio signaling his Tex-Mex friends. There you go. Respect Orange just says LVN needs a tutor.
Greg Rice says AFAM wears leg warmers to Walmart. just getting to the pertinent stuff right away.
Oh,
this show sucks so bad. I'm so sleepy today too, boys. I'm trying to hold it together, but I've reached that level where everything's just funny to me. I'm just ready for bed, to be honest with you. But Nebraska Rev in the free agent chat over here on the Patreon group says, I would love to see Khalil and Devontae as Packers. I feel it makes the team better on both sides. Then our offensive line practices against Mack every day, and Valentine gets to see a veteran bag of tricks every day. In addition, the D-line and receivers get the value of their wisdom, tricks, and skill. This year, I felt like our youth was holding back the development of our wide receiver room, especially. Also, I think the D-line could benefit so much from a presence like Mack. I think there's a good point to be made there, man. You guys remember how they talked about how Devontae helped shape Jair into the player he was? Because he was going up against them every day in practice. If you bring Devontae back and Carrington, Valentine, some of these guys are getting to go against him in practice, that could be very beneficial. If you bring in Khalil Mack, man, what better way to train your offensive line to have Gary on one side, Mack on the other, right?
Absolutely. Iron sharpens iron. They talk about it all the time. I think that it's something you're really paying attention to in the offseason, and then you forget about as the season goes on. So I think that continuation throughout the year, you're going up against those guys every week. You might as well have some on your own team that, it's one of those where you at practice, you got that one kid. It's like, dude, I want to match up against him every time. I'm going to smoke that guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's over for him. But you need the guys that are like, dude, I really don't want to go up against that guy right now, but he's going to make me look silly or something like that. That's where you get better. That's where you got to push it.
Yeah, definitely. Drew D says an extra benefit of Mack, it would upset Bear fans. That's a good point, right? Him obviously being a former Bear. Dan the Stan 22 says Gary and Mack on opposite sides. Who do you chip? That's a great question, right? What you probably end up doing is a lot of double chipping with the tight end and the backs.
Mm-hmm. And then if Gary comes off and Mack is still on, you still have someone you have to chip and worry about. You're not doing a whole rotation of, hey, we can do one-on-ones across the line because, Mosby's in kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to see Khalil Mack and JJ and Igbari playing together. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that would be cool. So what would that look like financially? Let's talk about that for a second. If you went and signed Khalil Mack in free agency, some are saying as old as he is, $15 million for 1 year, right? Others are saying no, it'd be closer to 25 or 30. Let's say it's in the middle somewhere. Let's say you can get him for 1 year, $18 million, right, against the cap. And you go get Devontae and you get that contract down to about 20 mil, right? You're talking about tying up roughly 38 million in cap. That's pretty much your free agents, right? That's what you're signing in free agents. I don't think that's a bad way to look at this year, seeing that we were young, inexperienced, obviously had a lot of penalties, a lot of mental mistakes. Wide receivers running the wrong choice routes. Matt LaFleur talked about that once again this year. You obviously had the drops. You'd like to think that the drops would go down with Devontae getting a good portion of the targets as well. Khalil Mack would help fix a little bit of that pressure issue for you, right? It would take heat off of Gary. If you were to say that's your 2 free agent signings, Devontae Adams, let's say the Jets cut him, you go sign him. You sign Khalil Mack, and you can maneuver and restructure the contracts with plenty of space and even be able to roll a bunch of cap into the next year to get ready for the future. And keep in mind, if these guys are gone the next year, if this is a one and done type thing, you're freeing up another $30 million in cap space next year, right? As long as you don't tack on any voidable years. But if you approach it that way and you turn around and you get a 3-tech in the draft, let's say you get a Walter Nolan or a Derek Harmon, one of these guys that everybody absolutely loves, and then the rest of the draft, say the second round, you pick up an interior offensive lineman or even a tackle that you kind of move around. You got some extra depth there, right? I really like the way that sounds. You understand what I'm saying? Like that, all that kind of fits into what we're talking about. You want to get a little more leadership, a little more veteran presence on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about, I don't think you're overpaying for good with those 2 players. You're overpaying for great, right? Okay. So that makes sense. If you get that extra edge rusher and you go and grab a 3-tech in the draft there in the first round, you're technically saying, okay, wide receiver is the last piece we're putting in place in Devontae. You understand what I'm saying? Am I talking myself into this, or does this make sense to you guys too?
It does make sense. I just feel like we need a lot of things to go our way for it to happen. Like you said, this is pending a release by the Jets. If they indeed choose to do that, right? They got a new head coach. I mean, do you think there's a chance that Tay and Aaron run it back and
Tim
changes over there?
I didn't even think about it till you said it. We talked about it this morning. It's reported that Aaron Glenn has already said he wants Aaron Rodgers to be his quarterback.
Right. So Tay's not leaving if Aaron's going to come back. So we might have just crapped on our own dreams.
What a buzzkill, Tim.
Those pesky facts getting in the way of our feelings.
I don't know it, man. Unbelievable. The stuff I put up with on this crappy show. Anyway, Emilio, does that make sense? How do you feel about that scenario?
Yeah. No, definitely. That's I would love that, seriously. Because then you can kind of move on from Mac when you're ready to. You're not tied to him forever. If you get a run this year at the Lombardi, cool. If not, it's next year, and move him on his way if you need to. But yeah, I completely thanks Tim for ruining the party, because I completely forgot that we got to figure out what Tay's doing.
Well, Tim ruined the party, but Jake Shavink just came in and fixed the party. Check this out. You guys remember Garrett Wilson? There was a report that leaked out that if Aaron Rodgers was returning next year, he didn't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he says if Aaron stays, that might mean Garrett Wilson wants out.
Here's the guy.
We go trade for Garrett Wilson. Now it becomes we're right back to square one. What are you giving up for Garrett Wilson? So that's interesting there for sure. Garrett Wilson, I think, is a great player. He definitely was before Aaron and Tay got there. But I don't know, man. If he's I think he would fit into this offense, don't you think? I mean, he can pretty much do everything. He's got good hands. He's a good route runner. They say he's got a great attitude as well. But now I think we're kind of grabbing at straws, right?
Yeah.
Make everything work. The one thing in this whole conversation that can happen just like that is Khalil Mack. It could, right? Now, there's always a chance with him being 34 years old, or going to be 34 years old, I believe, that he hits the wall and he's not near as effective, right? And you just waste that money. There's a chance of that. Man, if last year's any indicator that he can still play football, boy, he can play it at a high level. There's no doubt. Brambo says, y'all had the big board dialed in on edge, boys. We did the big board. I'm really happy with, man. I think we did really well with the big board.
Mm-hmm.
Like the top 3 quarterbacks on our board was Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. I think we would all agree those 3 played pretty well. We had Bo Nix right behind Michael Penix Jr. Obviously, Michael Penix Jr. ended up taking a starting job there toward the end from Kirk O'Chains, I think is what he's going by now. And Bo Nix, to me, looks like the real deal. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy got hurt, so those were our top quarterbacks. If you looked at running back was pretty low last year's draft. You got a lot of players above the top ones. We had Trey Benson at the top. I don't know how he fared this year. Wide receiver-wise, Marvin Harrison Jr., that was a slam dunk. It's easy to say that was going to be good. Rome Odunze, I think, was a hit for the Bears. To me, he looked like he belongs. He's going to be a good receiver in the league. Malik Neighbors, obviously, with the Giants. I remember I haven't followed him close, but it seemed like most of the year Malik Neighbors was people were bragging on him big time.
He was 8th in wide receivers this year, 86.7.
Oh, yeah. So we nailed on that one, right? Brock Bowers was our top tight end. We crushed that. I mean, like, that dude was just an absolute stud. Offensive tackle Joe Alt was at the top of the list. Obviously, he played really, really well for the Chargers. I'm assuming he played well for the Chargers. He's definitely their starting left tackle, right, Emilio? Am I thinking right?
Yes.
Yeah, Joe Alt.
Left. Yeah, I think he's left. But no, he did start. I'm pretty sure he started right away.
Okay, let me take a look real quick. That's the AFC West, right? And that's the let's see. Let me go to tackles. I just want to take a look at Joe Alt.
I have him at 23rd with a 75.9 PFF grade.
That's a hit.
78-1 pass blocking and a 670 run blocking.
We know Tavondre Sweat was good. He was our number 3 defensive lineman. Did we find out anything about Byron Murphy or Jerzon Newton? That's what I want to find out. Let me comb through. Matter of fact, let me just take the Patreon. We got that down, don't we? Let me put these grades up so we can kind of check them out in real time. But you keep cross-checking them too there, Emilio. See if you can find the defensive tackle. We're looking for defensive tackles, and we're going to be looking for
Tavondre, right. He was 15th with a 76.2, a 75 run defense, a 64-7 on pass rush, and a 66-1 on coverage with those 12 snaps in coverage. Didn't he have a pick too?
Who's that?
Tavondre Sweat. Didn't he have an interception?
Tavondre Sweat had an interception.
No, I'm sorry. Did that happen in Texas? That might have been. Yeah. Never mind.
Been awesome. I'm looking for Byron Murphy. Where's Byron Murphy at, man? I'm not seeing him anywhere. Did he get hurt or something maybe, or just is he in jail? Where's Byron Murphy at? What happened? Talk to me. There he is. Byron Murphy the second, 61st, 58. So that me no likey that, Jan, right? Jerzon Newton. Do we know where he's at, Amelia? You seen him yet?
Jerzon Newton.
I think he might be even lower.
Yeah, lower, not up top.
So we may have spoke too soon. We may have swung and missed big time on the interior. There he is, 91st, 51.1 for Washington. So we hit on Tavondre Sweat, but the two above him were misses, right? What about Chris Jenkins? You see him anywhere on that list? 111, 45.4. We sucked at interior defensive line.
Okay, so that's something we got to pay attention to this year, especially us needing a 3-tech.
Like I was saying, we don't need to take a 3-tech in the first round, boys. It just doesn't make sense, okay? Change that up real quick. So defensive tackle, we struggled. Edge, we had Latu. Obviously, I want to say he got hurt. He played for Indy, right? What did Latu finish with? Let's see if I can pull up the edges real quick here. Edge defenders. Boom. And he played for the Colts. So let's just look for the Indianapolis Colts. I want to say he got hurt, but I could be wrong. Now, there he is. 32nd, not bad, right? 71.5. He's actually tied for 32nd at edge defender. And then we had Chop Robinson. We talked about him. He finished with a 70-something grade, right? So he actually a 70 even. So he was 37th. So that's a pretty good football player there. And then, of course, Jared Verse, we knocked out of the park, 89.3. So edge, we're good. Linebacker, Junior Colson was my top linebacker. And I know I was in the extreme minority with that. I'm wondering where he might have finished.
He doesn't even have a grade. I have Edrin Cooper, Peyton Wilson, Omar Speets, Tyrese Knight, Darius Massow, Trayvon Wilson, and Maris Lafau.
Okay, so he doesn't even have a grade. So Junior Colson, I want to say he got hurt preseason because I remember looking at
played in 11 games, only started once.
Junior Colson?
Yep, I got him pulled up on Pro Football Reference.
How many snaps does it show, Tim?
Let's see.
It probably won't show you on Pro Football.
Don't have snap counts, no.
So Junior Colson probably a miss there. Peyton Wilson, 15th on this list right here with a 74.7. So that was a hit. And then obviously Edrin Cooper was our 4th best linebacker. That was a huge hit.
Yep.
Cedric Gray. Have you seen Cedric Gray?
Not on there.
Not on the list?
No, yeah. All I have up in the filters, draft year 2024, all there is the Edrin, Peyton, Omar, Tyrese, Darius, Tevin, and Maris. So, I mean, it would be Tyrese Knight would be one that I know, and Darius Massow that we looked at.
All right.
They were kind of down a little bit further.
And then cornerback.
Was hurt.
What's that, Tim?
Cedric Gray was hurt, I think. He only played in 7 games.
That might have been who I was thinking about then.
Yeah.
Quinyon Mitchell obviously had a good year. He's in the running for Rookie of the Year, so that was our top corner.
And then just hit filters again, and then just go to draft year 24.
Oh, nice. There you go. Look at you, man. These technological advancements. So, Quinyon Mitchell finished third best rookie at a 75.5. Kool-Aid McKinstry, how did he finish? 53rd overall.
Oh, no.
It's not horrible. 66.1, right? Oh, instead of, I see what you did there. Yeah, so, I mean, we always say if you hit 65 or above as your rookie year, it's a pretty good indicator you're a good football player, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to kind of last. So Kool-Aid will probably end up being a hit in the end.
Or our boy Max down there at 97th. That's tough. 55.5. That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. You're right, because we were all over him, weren't we? Where did I have him on the board, though? Let me double check. I know people were real big on him, and I had him a little bit lower. Yeah, I had him lower, man. I had him below the halfway mark. So I wasn't as big on Max Melton as others. Storm Duck, I remember Bird cooking Storm. Remember that?
Yep.
Bird on bird violence there in that game. But Nate Wiggins, I seen him up here toward the top, 23rd with a 72.6, pretty good year, right? He was our third best corner on the board. Terry and Arnold, I thought didn't he have a good year or no? Terry and Arnold. Nope. 50.8 for Detroit. Yuck. Right? A lot of penalties, too. They said he was getting real grabby. So Terry and Arnold looks like a miss as of right now. Cooper DeJean was a hit. He's the top-graded rookie corner next to Andrew Phillips. Let's go. Cooper DeJean, we had him as the 5th best corner. And then Tim's guy, Enos Rakestraw Jr. was next on our list. Where did he get?
He got hurt.
Tim said, hey, he tried to rob a bank. He's not in the league. So he got hurt. All right.
Yeah.
Last position.
I don't know how much time he missed. What did he grade out as? 59?
I couldn't find him just now, to be honest with you.
I thought I saw him there on that list.
Oh, was he?
AFAM here. AFAM with the quick filters and lube. And then AFAM said, lube that data up. Greg Rice said, sniff. They grow up so fast watching Clay learn about spreadsheet.
I'll tell you, boy, I am not your guy when it comes to technology. I promise you that. We get this big
like this guy when it comes to technology.
I put a second mortgage on the house to get this NASA computer. Don't even know how to use the damn thing.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? That's the way that works. So, safeties, we had Tyler Nubin as the top safety. He finished with a 65.6. Not bad. Next was Javon Bullard. Now, Javon Bullard, 54.2. He's 81st. Of course, he played a lot of corner. They got him listed as a safety here. Next was Katan Oladapo, which he's not meeting the minimum requirements. Why he's not on there, I bet.
What?
Should be a way to ignore that.
I think is it under view? Yeah, it's under view. But
hey, look at this. So when you ignore the minimal snaps, Katan Oladapo was the 4th highest graded safety. Draft. Turn it up, Tim. This is vibe for a second. You know what I'm saying? So Ola Home Depot, pretty good year there. What about Cam Kinchen? Cam Kinchen's had a pretty good year, 71.5. He was our 4th best safety. He dropped quite a bit on our board, but he proved to be a pretty good safety. So not bad there. A lot of these names we looked at, I remember you guys being big on Jaden Hicks. He was a hit, right? I think I was lower on him on my board. I had him more in the middle of the pack. And then didn't you like DTD a lot?
That was Emilio's guy, boy.
my boy, I was trying to stand on the table for him.
Oh, seriously, though.
We had 5 grade, not bad.
We had him right below Cam Kinchen's, I guess in the number 6 spot. And you nailed that one. Holy cow. What about Caden Bullock? We talked about Caden Bullock a lot too.
Yeah, he was the one that missed that hot piss catch from Tucker Kraft and got roasted. That's right.
47.9. Yuck. Cole Bishop, I remember him too. So there you go. It's fun to kind of look back and see, what sticks out to you. We did that little exercise, D-tackle, right? Something went wrong there on the board. That's
great. Now we got to go back to the drawing board. We're halfway done with it. Now we got to fix.
Exactly. And this whole time we're going, this D-tackle is going to be a stud. Everybody's on their board going, y'all know what the hell you're talking about.
Numbers are off.
That's instant credibility right there. That's how it's done. So All right, we hit the PFF. We got the Patreon group stuff in. Appreciate y'all. Actually, we got one more Patreon thing to hit on. As Drew D, a new member here, hopped over from YouTube and joined the Patreon group. He's in there with the draft chat now. Really cool. If I can find it, I think this is the right tab. He had a prospect, or a couple of them I think he might have actually mentioned. I think he mentions Mike Green. Mike Green's still in the show, and Do You Rant has a couple here as well. Let's hit them. Do You Rant says Ohio State has 3 front 7 guys. Tua Maloa. That sound right, guys? Tua Maloa,
Yeah.
Jack Sawyer, along with defensive tackle Tyleik Williams, who all could be late first-round picks. Obviously, they're loaded in Ohio State this year. And then Drew came in and said, I came across something interesting with Mike Green. His freshman year, he played for Virginia. So I like to ask myself, why would a guy downgrade by going from Virginia to Marshall? I don't have inside information, but when he was a freshman, he was only 6'4", 225 pounds at outside linebacker. Then he transferred and bulked up to 241 pounds. So clearly he was a late bloomer. The following year, he put on more weight, now up to 248 pounds. 225 to 248 is a massive difference. It's a great point, Drew. And you'll notice the last 2 years, Emilio, he crushed it, didn't he? I mean, he had great PFF grades the last 2 years. So that extra weight definitely helped. It kind of explains why he's such a quick twitch pass rusher too. You know what I mean? Because
built with speed before he put on the muscle.
Bingo. That's it.
Being able to transfer that. And now AFAM had a question here earlier. Who turned out to be the highest graded rookie center? That would be ranked 5th of centers overall, and that would be Zach Frazier, AFAM, with a 77.9.
Let's look at it. Let's go to the tape. Go to the board. So we had Jackson Powers Johnson as the top center, and right behind him was Zach Frazier.
Jackson Power Johnson has no snaps and is not, even with the minimum ignored, I don't have him. So we have Zach Frazier's number 1. Then it'd be Hunter Norzad. Pretty sure he was from Penn State. Maybe a late round gem, but he only had 30 snaps. The next would be Cooper Beebe and Tanner Bortolini were the two others, 16 and 17.
Wow. Bortolini being a Wisconsin guy. What was his grade again?
Bortolini was a 65.1. Cooper Beebe was a 65.4.
I remember our Wisconsin listeners, man, got a lot of people that are Wisconsin Badgers fans that listen to the show, and they were big on Bortolini. They loved Bortolini. So I like pasta too, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't.
That's tortellini, Clayton.
Oh,
tortellini.
You got you.
Appreciate that.
Ed Fish advised me that he played guard. So Jackson Powers at guard was ranked 40th with a 63.9, played just shy of 1,000 snaps for Raiders.
That's starting caliber, man. You know.
Yeah. But here you go, Dominic Pooney.
Yeah.
80.5, ranked 7th overall of guards.
80.5 for Pooney.
80.5.
Did we have him as a guard, or where did we have him?
I think we had him as a tackle from Kansas, I believe. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different guy.
Let me see here. I think we had him at tackle too. Pooney. Yeah, we had him at tackle, and we had him listed as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think the 9th best tackle, maybe the 8th. Right above Tyler Gotton, right below Jordan Morgan. So I hope Pooney don't turn into that player that ends up being like the Josh Myers compared to the Creed Humphrey. That would suck. You know, you look up and Pooney's a Hall of Famer and Jordan Morgan doesn't amount to anything. That would really suck. I think Jordan's going to be a great player though, personally. So I'm glad AFM asked that question though, man. That's interesting to go back through the centers like that for sure. So these Ohio State players they're talking about, man, you got some studs there, right?
Yeah.
At this year's draft. When we go to defensive, actually, let's just go overall prospects to see if we can locate these guys. According to the
Williams is up there for sure.
Yeah, according to the Census Big Board, they got Josh Simmons, Ohio State guy at offensive tackle in the 18 spot. Then you got Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver in the 21 spot. And then you have Tyleik Williams in the 33 spot. He peaked at 30. Then Jack Sawyer at 37. He peaked at 29. And then Donovan Jackson, interior offensive lineman at 40. He peaked at 38. And then the other guy, the Tua Maloa, if that's how you say it, he's sitting 47th. He's an edge defender. He peaked at 34. So yeah, they're kind of borderline late first round picks. Could bleed into the second round. But man, did Ohio State pump out the prospects this year? Holy cow, dude! That's wild. Them and Ole Miss are the two teams that really stick out to me, man. It just seems like, as you scratch, Georgia's got a bunch of dogs, no pun intended, as well, man. Like Mikael Williams, edge defender, he's number 10 on the big board. Then you got Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. He's sitting in the 12 spot. Jalen Walker, linebacker. Like Tim said, another inside linebacker named Walker. I think he can actually play edge as well, if I understood correctly. 16th overall, 12th is where he peaked.
Oh, you know, we're taking at least one player from Georgia.
It's happening. You know,
to keep the streak alive, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, these Ole Miss guys, though, they're littered all throughout as well, man. So it's interesting to see kind of which schools are really churning out the prospects, and that's going to help recruiting, and you know, the rich get richer, right? That's typically how that works.
Tell you what, Iowa State churned out a receiver. I'm just going to say it like that.
Tim, who is that guy? You haven't talked about him yet. Who you?
Yeah, have I mentioned Jaden Higgins from Iowa State? No. Oh, okay.
Can I introduce you in a gentleman by the name of Jaden Higgins here? Let me pull up this consensus big board real quick, and we're trying to bounce back and forth from the PFF big board to the consensus big board just to kind of give you guys a good little blend. But, yeah, as Tim was pointing out, wide receiver, if you're going down here, you're going to see Iowa State pop up here pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. Where's he at, Tim? What's going on? No, he was lower, wasn't he?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. Yeah, he was way lower. Let me just go receiver. And
Tim, he's 23rd on our board right now. So
telling you.
Nice.
It's what we were talking about earlier, Amelia, on the morning show when we were looking at, like, man, yeah, he's Jaden Higgins. They got him in the 84 spot.
Nice.
So we got him worthy of the 23rd pick. You said, Amelia.
Wait, we got to pull up the pick. Let me get the ticker. Where do we pick? I think we pick 84, don't we? 87.
87.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like maybe trade back from second, from 54. Get like into the 70s and make sure you get him if this board is correct. You guys know how this goes. Now, he peaked at 69, so you got to treat it as if he could go at the 69 pick. So who knows, man, second round pick. I mean, Green Bay's got a lot of precedent there for taking.
Then you get some production at Senior Bowl practices, and you get production at the game, and then we got to chase him up the board.
Which
great job. We brought him to the light, Tim. Nice. Now we're gonna have to fight for him.
Yeah, take this off the screen immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to start some rumor about him, smoking.
We're looking at Restrepo. Yeah, we want Restrepo real bad.
Yeah, that's what it is. The little guy, right?
Yeah, the little guy.
Everyone's got the worst grade. That's who we're wanting. That guy right there. And
don't ask me any questions about receivers under 6 foot tall. I'm not familiar with them. I haven't scouted any of them.
And we'll just go ahead and Jake Shavink says mock draft time, I'd say. I did one the other day. And I got
here we go.
People loved it. People hated it. We will go ahead and say, though, so we're going to be live for the East-West Shrine game. That is next Thursday night, correct, guys? Next Thursday night. So if I remember correctly. So that'll kick off about the time that our show goes live. So we'll do a normal show about 1:20 for that. But that Saturday, the Reese's Senior Bowl, what we're going to do is we're going to do a live watch party for the Senior Bowl. Now, keep in mind, we cannot put the Senior Bowl on the screen, right, for copyright purposes. But what we'll be doing is following along together. And as these guys make plays, as these guys, the storylines kind of unfold for it, we're just going to hang out. It's going to be very casual, probably have some pizza grease on the keyboard here, just hanging out, watching ball, talking. And what we'll do is pull up their PFF statistics, all that stuff, their grades, and we'll kind of dive into, hey, here's this player that's getting highlighted right now. We'll have the box score up on the screen so you can kind of see who's sticking out. But I will say this, if you're expecting the Senior Bowl to be this like big, exciting game, it's fun, don't get me wrong. The practice leading up to it, this next week, the practice all week long leading up to the Senior Bowl, that's where you want to be in tune with social media. We'll be giving you guys updates for that as well. So it'll be a lot of fun for sure. So anything else we want to hit on, boys? We can go in any direction here that you guys want to. We could end it watching a little tape if you wanted to on some Green Bay Packers. Is there a player maybe on the Packers roster that you guys are like, hey, I wonder how he did this year, or I feel like he did well? Let's go watch the tape. Anybody come to mind at all?
Yeah, man. Pull Eric Stokes numbers, man. Let's.
Do you really?
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Tim wants to talk about it. Tim said this is a discussion we got to have for the offseason.
I'm kidding.
Now.
I think he's kidding. To be honest with you.
Totally
he's trying to get a ruse out of everybody here. Seriously, who comes to mind? Like think
Can we watch Home Depot's? Just a couple of plays.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, there we go. Because we've got
I
we've got
just
some snaps, got some
want to see
tape.
my man.
So let me do it this way. Let me get this off the screen and let's go.
Or if you have no Home Depot tape, we're getting asked for some Zane Anderson tape.
Ooh, I'm sure we could find both. Now it gets a little bit tricky because you got to find them on the stat column. Let's see, Ola Home Depot passer rating when targeted. Where's Oladapo at here? Do we have him on this list? We got to probably remove the minimum, I bet. No, there is no minimum.
He's finding
Where's
his way.
he at? He's not even on here.
He probably doesn't have one, so let's get our boy Zaniac in there.
The Zaniac? Did he just say?
The real guy.
Oh, here we go. No wonder. Look, Tim.
Oh, he's at the top. That's why he was getting more done. That's the problem.
You can do it. We can watch. Katan Oladapo, 39.6 passer rating when targeted. Let's see what we can watch here. We got 2 stops. We got 4 tackles. We've got this is kind of hard, man, because it doesn't show. Yeah, there's a target. We got 1 target. That's why.
Perfect. Throw it to my man. Let's see it.
Let's roll the target. Touchdown. Let's see what happens here. Do we get it or not?
No.
Oh, no, the NASA computer.
No, it's smoking.
It says it's loading.
Get ready to go.
Just put that on loop until we get it to work here, Tim. That's what we need to do, man.
Next time we'll have to hit it with them.
We just lost 5 viewers with that one.
I don't blame them. Are you kidding me? If I click on Katana Ladapo, will it show the stats that way? It will. Looky here, boys.
Look at that.
Looky here. All right, so
Bro.
let's watch the hustle plays. All right, let's see if we can get these 2 hustle plays in here.
Here we go.
This is against the Bears. Do we want the end zone cam or do we want the? We probably want the.
Probably
all 22, right? Let's go all 22 sideline.
We definitely want the theme music too, right?
Oh, gotta have the theme music. You kidding me? Let me get this full screen here too. All right, so here we go. All right, where's he at? Let's find him, boys. Let's see him rotating down right here. Look how big he looks, man. Seriously, like he's a hoss, ain't he? Was he like 6'1", 6'2", something like that?
Yep.
He's thick too. Watch him. Let's see if he's going to show a little late rotation. You see him trying to hold off, right? Oh, here we go. Now we're going to bounce out, right? Showing a little split look. This, to me, on the surface, looks like it's probably cover 6, right? It could be man coverage. They're showing a little catch man up top. Let's see what he does here, though. It's a hustle play, right? So he's rotating down. He's playing robber. That's cover 1 robber is what that is. You see deep safety, and he's playing robber in the middle. Let's see what that's right. All right. Next play. This is against the Bears again. So here you see him on this side once again. They're trying to show a little split safety look, little rotate or little movement. Nobody followed, so you're in zone. This looks like quarter, half. That's what you call cover 4. 4 up here, 2 down here. So he's playing. He's got that deep middle corner.
Fast, loose, aggressive, downhill. Trust it, see it, go. I love it.
He just shot out of a cannon. He's like, I'm going.
Look at that right there to avoid Cole Kmet's block. I think that was Cole Kmet, right?
Yep.
I like how he comes in low too. You see how he's like he takes the good angle
with the other camera from behind him.
Yeah. Emilio said, "Let me see it from behind." Here we go. Let's go from behind here.
Yeah.
All right,
is a doer that gets more done.
Nice. All right. Let's see if I can navigate backwards here now. It makes it a little bit difficult. Let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had the 2 hustle plays, 2 stops. That's probably the hustle plays, to be honest with you, too.
I would think.
Run defense. Let's go to the 1 target here. All right, 1 target.
Saints.
What's that?
Okay, I know. I was just saying against the Saints. I'm trying to remember when it happened.
This is what sucks about NFL Pro. If it's only 1 play you got targeted, you can't get rid of this box. Let me see if I can go maybe zoom here.
Oh,
it's going to kind of stay faded, right? That's what sucks. So, so here it looks like he's at the bottom of the screen. Right?
Yeah. And at the beginning, if you run that back at the beginning, he's yelling at Eric Stokes to do something.
Is he? Let's see.
I don't know what he was telling him to do.
Yep.
But he needed him.
That was a heater too, because Oladapo was going to take his head off. He
didn't wait. That's what I love. He doesn't wait. He comes downhill immediately.
Right.
I mean, there's no other receiver over there. There's no other threat to your left. That ball's got to come out at some point.
Yeah, let's watch the tackles. Again, we'll probably see those 2 on here that we already watched, but let's just kind of dive into it. All right, so here he is playing. Is he playing deep? Is that him deep?
Yeah, he's post.
Looks like him. So he's playing post safety. Well, outside zone, cutting it back in. Look at that. Running back got on the ground, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Good little run fit there. We might have something in Catano Ladapo. See it from another angle. Watch him close right here. 27 right in the middle of the screen. Oh, yeah. Let's go. That's gap sound right there, baby. Let's go. Nice rep.
Close, shrunk the distance, didn't allow the back to get upfield on him.
Yeah. All right, here he is again. Now he's in the box somewhere, so he's down here. He was just talking to X. X up there. As I eat my mini Reese's. These are money right here.
Greg Rice said I thought him a bunch of notes at the same time.
Yep.
It's got to be awkward, though. I mean, could you imagine that? You're just trying to give him a note and then he puts off on him like, Coach, what were you going to say? I needed to know that.
Yeah, it's like, Quay, whatever you do right here, don't. Oh, crap. Right.
Imagine if you had this guy in your comms.
Get ready to go.
Yeah. Might be a backup stackbacker if we need one.
You want to see the Zaniac, didn't you?
Yeah, the Zaniac. If we have time, I don't want to hold up the NASA computer and watch Zane tape, but I think it'd be well worth our while.
Don't be making fun of my computer over here, sir. I don't appreciate that at all. All right, Zane Anderson. Let's see what old Zane did. Look at that flow. Look at those flowing locks right there. You kidding me?
Wow.
He got that birth control smile too. He ain't getting nobody pregnant with a smile like that. Let's see what we got here.
Get ready to go.
All right. Let's see. We got several things we can hit on here. We got tackles, 7 tackles. We got 1 stop. We got a pass rush as well. We got an interception. Let's watch the interception. You want to watch the pick real quick?
Start with the best.
Yeah, you got that right. Emilio, you ready to go? All right. So where's Zane at here? He's playing rotated down, right? So he's rotated down. X is up top in the post. Oh, I remember this. Look at him. I'm going to break off his route. Now let's just go back here and steal this one from Carrington. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a nice break on the ball, man. We broke that down too, man. He broke out
on the field. Look at pre-snap here.
Right. So there is his interception. Let's fall back now, and let's look at the tackles. Is that good with you guys? And then we'll wrap this big bear up. What, wait, hour 15? This is fun, man. Off-season's so stress-free. Just getting here and just watch some tape. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? All right. So here we are with the tackles from Zane Anderson. It's the Detroit game. Zane is playing right here on this snap. So for those of you on the pod, he's playing the left safety position. Looks like he's going to end up being post safety unless, So here we go. They're kind of playing, it looks like a little cover 2 to me. Nothing special, right?
Looked like they were in an inverted cover 2.
Closing outside there. I was impressed with him.
It was a treat to see him actually play some defensive snaps. It really was, instead of just special teams.
It looks like they like him as a post safety a little bit more than in the box here, doesn't it, Emilio? That's what I'm noticing a little bit. Seemed like they had him at least pre-snap lining up post safety.
Right.
Both snaps.
And he's not afraid to – I love how our safeties aren't afraid to try to disguise it and walk it down. I mean, we talked about sugaring all the time with Joe Barry. But
yeah, I'd like to see Zane back, man. Zane and TJ for the right price. I'd like to see them back on this roster, man. I think we'll miss them if we don't. I really do.
I agree.
Where's he at here?
And his special team.
Where's Zane at here?
I think he's deep.
Oh, no. Is he? Okay. Is he off screen maybe?
He's either off screen or he's the one standing.
That's 11 guys right there.
Yeah, that's 11. Is that him right here?
I think that's – yeah, boy.
That was right. That was that 4th down. I remember that. Okay.
Look at that.
He stuffed him. That's right.
He said, you need to – here, let me play Sam Backer for just a second.
I was just –
get the hell out of here.
Look at our boy.
You never know when you're going to get your opportunity in this league. Here's a guy who we all thought was a figment of our imagination for a while. And, we lose Evan Williams and, we need Zane to step up. And he did. Stepped up in a big way for us.
Yeah, look at that. Close on the bench,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Kind of makes you wonder what the hell was he doing on the bench when we had Savage starting,
Well, hadn't we?
Yeah, get me on a couch over here. Smoking a cigar, talking about our problems. It was frustrating, man, because you could see it. It was just like, why are we doing this? Look at this late rotation, right? You started with X as post, and obviously they use little motions, so now X rotates down. And you're going to see Zane kind of show post. Let's see if he actually plays post. Ooh, Look at him close already. That's good instinct right there, boys.
Yeah.
Let's go. Bang.
Doesn't wait. No hesitate. Just like KT.
Yep.
A lot, but what we're
Good
seeing,
I still can't believe Zane played that well.
crap, right? That's exactly what that is. So it looks like Zane's on the tight end here. Now they're going to motion the running back. Oh yeah, that's a tough look,
Yeah.
because you know they're going to run some kind of switch concept. There it is. See the switch? Going to sit, little pick, right?
Mm.
And here comes Zane. Nice job. He's always got his eyes in the backfield. I've noticed that about Zane. Even when he's in man coverage, it's kind of
That confrontation, go initiate that contact, play downhill. I love it.
This is another good example, too, of what we're talking about with controlled rushes. This one, they just turn them loose and look at the middle of the field. You know, we've been talking about touch spies like all year long. Like, say, Carl would kind of go across the face of the tackle, occupy the guard, and kind of sit in the A-gap, you know, and spy a little bit. Well, if I remember correctly, nobody does spy on this play. And watch the gap open up here. Right? You bring that – look at that right there. You see what I'm saying? And the reason that we haven't had a whole lot of quarterback scramble on us this year is because we've done a lot of that touch spy in the middle with Kenny and other players. In this case, you turned it loose with 5, and this is what happens. You get gashed. So be careful with
Spencer Radler, of all people.
Yeah. And then, again, why do we hate man coverage? Multiple reasons. But watch Keyshawn. There's nothing Keyshawn can do right here. You're going to see Rattler running. Look, Keyshawn's back to the ball. He's got to keep his eye. When you don't have a touch spy involved, is what I've noticed with Hafley's defense so far. If they're not running a touch spy, they're usually running a cover 1 drop or a cover 1 robber. That way you got that middle guy in the, you know, kind of playing mid zone, but he can also kind of spy the quarterback.
Right.
But on that play, obviously you're blitzing 5. So what it is you're bringing a 5-man rush, man coverage, just a single high safety, nobody in the middle, and you can get gashed like that for sure. So anyway, that was fun, man. I'm glad we dove into that. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we wrap up here?
No, I think it was a good Thursday. One more day for the week before the weekend, and let's get a little more Packers talk coming. We got those Shrine games coming up. That's exciting. That's what we got to look forward to. Kind of just waiting for Goody and them to do their cooking in the off season. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Tim,
waiting for the Chiefs to lose this weekend. That'll be great.
Amen to that. I keep forgetting we got football this weekend. One last thing. We're talking about these all-star games. Shedeur Sanders, East-West Shrine game. That's what that logo is right there. Okay, so he'll be playing in that. That's your number 2 prospect according to the consensus big board. And you go down, Nick Scourton, or Scourton, however you say it, edge defender from Texas A&M. He's the 17th overall prospect. He'll be in the Reese Senior Bowl that we're going to be doing a live watch party with. Then Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman. We talked about him earlier today. He was one of the favorite prospects in our Patreon group. East-West Shrine game. Siobhan Ravel Jr. out of East Carolina, East-West Shrine game. Shamar Stewart, defensive lineman out of Texas A&M, Reese Senior Bowl. Jalen Milroe, quarterback from Alabama, he said, man, I'm signing up for that Senior Bowl this year, boys. I gotta improve my stock. He had a rough year. He peaked at number 8. He's down to 25 right now. I think he's got a ton of talent. But Walter Nolan, my boy, Reese Senior Bowl. We'll be watching for him. Ariante Ursary, I think I'm saying that right, offensive tackle out of Minnesota, ranked 30th. He'll be in the Reese Senior Bowl. Armand Mimbo, interior offensive lineman from Missouri, will be in the Reese Senior Bowl. Jonah Savanaya, I think is how you say it, interior offensive lineman from Arizona. He's 39th, Senior Bowl. Landon Jackson, edge defender out of Arkansas, Senior Bowl. Princely, edge defender out of Ole Miss, Reese Senior Bowl. Wyatt Malum, offensive tackle out of West Virginia, Senior Bowl. Trey Amos, cornerback, a guy that I think is pretty high on our board, Emilio, if I remember correctly. He'll be in the Senior Bowl. Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. That might have been who I was thinking about. 2 Treys on the same team. That's wild.
Trey Amos is 49th.
Okay. On our board?
Correct.
Nice. And he's sitting here at 45, so that's pretty close, right?
Yep.
Let's see who else we got here. You notice that most of the top guys in the top 100 are Senior Bowl, right? But the Shrine game, you got some other guys that are going to be peppered in. We already hit on a couple of them there. They're trying to improve their stock, like Braden Swinson, edge defender from LSU, will be the East-West Shrine game. Zy Alexander, cornerback. I actually took him in my mock draft. He'll be in the East-West Shrine game. Jake Shavink, Jaden Higgins, Senior Bowl season. Can't wait. There you go, Tim. Jaden Higgins is going to be out
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything about him.
No idea who you mentioned in there, sir.
Yep.
Another one in the East-West Shrine game is Caden Prather. So if we were to look at, like, what do you think's the top need? Be honest, guys. Right off the bat, what's the Packers' top need that you got to fill hell or high water in this draft?
3 techs, but I don't see many of them.
All right, so let's go defensive line. The guys we're going to be looking for: Kenneth Grant in the East-West Shrine game, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M Senior Bowl, Walter Nolan Senior Bowl, Deion Walker Senior Bowl. Tim,
let's go.
You're going to see tweets all week long of him bullying people in practice, man. All right, that's what we're looking for. TJ Sanders, defensive lineman out of South Carolina Senior Bowl, Alfred Collins Senior Bowl, Shamar Turner Senior Bowl, Omar Norman Lott Senior Bowl, Jordan Birch Senior Bowl, Ty Hamilton Senior Bowl. Now we're getting toward the bottom here, obviously. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a good week coming up. So we got playoff football, right? We've got next Thursday, we got the East-West Shrine game that'll be going on while we're live here on the air. And then Saturday around, I think what was it, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern, we'll be going live doing a watch party for the Senior Bowl. That'd be a blast. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm telling you, we're going to blink. It's going to be combine.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to blink again. It's going to be free agency. And then we're going to blink again. We're all going to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the NFL draft. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Let's go. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Looking forward to that, man.
I told y'all that's how I decided I was going. Me and Mandy were like, should we go, whatever. She went, yeah, we're going. I went, I don't know. She went, Clayton. I went, it's 32 teams. I'm 42. I'll be 74 for the next. Yeah, we better go up there for that. I'm probably not going to be around for the next one. So let's do that. So, all right. Too old for this, says y'all rich people. What we got you for? You can't hide credit. You know what I'm saying? Too old. We're out of here. Appreciate your time, fellas. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambeau, 8:30 a.m. Central. Hit that like button on the way out. We appreciate you. Give me one more time here, Tim. We need to get out of here, right? What you say?
Get ready to go.
We're out. See you.
And we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.